The Secrets of Stargate, Episode 76. Hello and welcome to The Secrets of Stargate, where we talk about the hidden meanings and deeper layers found in the Stargate movies and series, including SG-1, Atlantis, Universe, and more. I'm Father Cory Sticha. With me today are Lisa Jones and Victor Lambs. Howdy, Lisa.
Hey, Father Cory. And
howdy, Victor.
How do you do, Father Cory?
Before we begin, I'd like to invite you to join our Discord server. We're having a lot of fun, and you can join in our discussions of all our shows, not just The Secrets of Stargate. Get your invite at sqpn.com/discord. All are invited. If you're enjoying listening to The Secrets of Stargate, you might enjoy even more being able to watch us make fools of ourselves and see our smiling faces. We're now posting The Secrets of Stargate in video on YouTube. Check us out at youtube.com/StarQuestMedia. Also, you can go to sqpn.com/merch to get your t-shirts, mugs, stickers, and much more. Today, we are discussing Tangent, the 12th episode from the 4th season of SG-1. Jack and Teal'c have been tasked to demonstrate the flight and combat capacities of the prototype X-31 interceptor fighter, a death glider modified by the Air Force for combat against the Goa'uld. The test, however, goes astray when a recall device installed by Apophis activates, taking control of the craft and setting course for his home planet hundreds of years away. An attempt to use guided missiles engines to slingshot around Jupiter fails, leaving Teal'c and Jack stranded with limited life support. Fortunately, Jacob Carter/Selmac is on a mission with the Tok'ra within a one-day hyperspace travel of Earth. Sam and Daniel are able to convince him to come to the rescue of Teal'c and Jack. Despite a brief encounter in the bad part of town, Jacob and company are able to arrive at the X-301 with a few moments to spare and beam Jack and Teal'c aboard after they evacuate the craft. So, Lisa, what do you think of this one?
I like this one. I think they took a very familiar plot, reminiscent of Apollo 13, the movie, and just really made it fun and made it Stargate. Lots of great lines, little fun tangents, like having Jacob Carter be the one to rescue and break down in the bad part of town. And, they just made it's their own, even though they were emulating, we'll say, a couple of other, or at least Apollo and things like that. And lots of other fun references, as I'm sure y'all will point out.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's kind of a fun, it's a simple episode. I mean, this really is, although, and of course, you'll talk about it, shows Earth trying to advance their technologies as best they can, the things that they've captured. But it's a kind of just a fun, simple episode. And Jacob yelling at Sam and when they show up. What do you think, Victor? Why is this the best written episode of the series?
Yeah, it's one of the best written episodes of the series. The writer on this, Michael Cassett, I believe is how it's pronounced. Sci-fi writer, books, articles, did a few shows as well. But it is taking your basic disaster movie plot. It could be Apollo 13, it could be Airplane, for that matter. And the writing is just really really sharp. I don't know how much of the military jargon is actual, authentic. But the story beats are really nice as well too. You set up, you have the proud moment with the glider. The visiting general is there, and then things go wrong. Jack and Teal'c try to fix it on their own. You have the whole, time lag effect with the communications, which sets up a really nice thing where they timestamp a lot of their dialogue. So, it's been, 2 hours since the accident. Okay, now it's been 10 hours since the accident. They have 12 hours, So I like that aspect of it too. It makes it, very clear to follow what's going on. And then in the end, the entire team has something to do. None of the SG-1 members are sidelined. And even Anise, who we don't see in this episode, is actually helpful for once. Where when she
sort of.
off screen, she gives them all the information they need. I mean, you're like, oh, she's talking about Jacob. It's like, okay. And that is just hilarious, where they show up and to this planet where they're going to meet this Tok'ra operative who might have a ship that can reach them in time. And it's, this huge, one of the landed motherships. There's this huge mining operation. Daniel and Sam are there, and it's like, okay, we might have to go into that mine. And just as they say that, they're beamed up aboard Jacob's ship, and he's like, I saw you guys come through the Stargate. I was cloaked. I was going to blow them up. I can't do that now. So there's a lot of really good story beats in this. The dialogue is very sharp. I don't know how much of that was in the original script. From what I've read, a lot of it was, but of course, then Peter DeLuise picked it up and gave it probably more of that unique Stargate flavor.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, of course, Peter DeLuise doesn't have any kind of writing credits or anything like that, so this probably is mostly the story. But directors do so much to impact a show. What I want to start out with is you mentioned the general, the visiting general, the 3-star with absolutely no sense of humor whatsoever. I mean, he was unimpressed with Jack O'Neill. Just
he liked
unimpressed.
Teal'c, though.
And he's one of those actors that you've seen everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
Stephen Williams. Now, what I recognized him immediately from was Blues Brothers. He was one of the Ohio State troopers that was chasing after them with John Candy.
I'm going to catch them if it's the last thing I ever do.
Yep, that's him.
Yeah. For me, it was X-Files.
You said you saw it from Supernatural.
Supernatural, yeah. He plays Bobby's friend and fellow monster hunter Rufus, and they have some pretty funny episodes together.
Nice. So it's kind of fun to see him because he is a good actor. He really is kind of a fun, but he's not one of those actors that usually gets a major part. It's usually kind of a secondary character or a guest character type of thing, but does a great job with it. So he was kind of fun to see.
I liked watching him play off of Teal'c.
Yeah.
Kind of he wouldn't roll his eyes, but giving O'Neill that look and then being like, okay, we speak the same language, we can talk.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's kind of like, let's light this candle. Or is the general expecting us to light candles?
Yeah. Sure. And they did the Spies Like Us thing again, where they're all standing around. They did, Major General, Colonel General, Dr. General. Yeah.
There were so many of those little moments that are taken from other shows that I just loved.
Yeah, they obviously had a lot of fun with that part of it. But of course, they get it and Teal'c showing off where he's blasting him with the jet wash from the X-301 and showing what kind of goodies it can do, and the general's like, okay, I just need to see what it's slow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I have to say that moment of Teal'c coming out of the ship, the 301, and walking towards them holding his helmet.
Yeah.
And you can see it over his shoulder. I mean, it's a very Top Gun kind of shot. First of all, he just
the right stuff walk.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Stuff,
it's from the right stuff, like Chuck Yeager walking from his prototype ship.
But it was a beautiful shot. I mean, I'm sure it was. You probably know, Victor. Was it painted or? I mean, I'm assuming the X-301 wasn't actually sitting there. So
yeah, it was composited. Yeah, but very nicely done. And a lot of the granted they're stuck in the cockpit for most of this episode, but it's still like the space scenes. You don't get the feeling that it's just like a suspended, cockpit with a, piece of curtain with holes cut in it. They do some nice things with the lighting and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. The stars actually look like they're stars. So they probably were, some fairly simple CGI, but still, it was something pretty easily done for their budget. There's probably the most expensive shot was when when Jacob shows up, Jacob and Sam and Daniel show up in the shuttlecraft and they're docked next to him, parked next to him. That's probably the most expensive shot they had of the whole show.
There was some very good compositing of that where we can see through the cockpit, and Teal'c and Jack are there, and we see through the cockpit of the X-301 into the cargo, the Goa'uld cargo ship, and that was very nice. Yeah. Into the cockpit of that.
I love that they took, like you said, it was such a kind of, they could have gone really simple with it, but they took the time to make it very engaging to look at.
Yeah. No, they did a very good job with this episode. Again, like I said, it was a fairly simple episode. It really wasn't the most complex episode, but they did a good job with a lot of small details, making the X-301 look good, look like it clearly was a death glider, but it also has kind of recognizable, U.S. military look to it with the tails on it and stuff like that, and the cockpit and.
Which makes when we see the X-302, which is the all Earth built, we've learned our lesson. We're not, smashing death gliders together, and as I say, putting a Air Force sticker on it, as Jacob says when he's chewing out Sam and Daniel. When we do see the X-302, it looks a lot more like a fighter plane / spacecraft rather than a death glider / fighter plane. Mm-hmm. So it is nice how they have that progression of technology.
And by the way, they did literally put a USAF sticker on it. There's one shot where it's underneath and you can see USAF on the bottom of the wing.
Yeah.
So they literally did just put a USAF sticker on it.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Of course, I've got to jump in that I loved Daniel and Sam's reaction when he says that. You can't just do that. And they're like, isn't that what the Goa'uld and the Toker have been doing for, I don't know. Forever?
Yeah, but we've been doing it for decades longer than you, so,
Yeah,
that's basically his only thing. It's like, not that we didn't do it, it's we've been doing it longer. So we know what we're doing.
Hundreds of years longer, yeah. Yeah.
Centuries, not decades. Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
Of course, they're doing just the simple, we just got to show off what this thing can do. And they've got the kind of impressed, talk about like the military technology, the AIM-120A is a surface-to-air missile that the military still uses to this day, the AIM-120, and I think they're up to the D now, or getting ready to come out with the 120D as I was looking online. That is the surface-to-air air-to-air missile, air-to-air missile that they use on, the modern jets, the F-22s, the F-35s, and so on. So,
minus the Naquita warheads, hopefully, that they were planning on using.
Hopefully.
and shield generator, shield modulator, or whatever they said it was that would get him through the shields. Or
we don't see Apophis in this episode, but we hear his voice as he activates the trader recall feature in the car.
Trader recall device.
Just kind of like a repo, like they have these things now where if they want to repo your car, they can either automatically disable it or find you and stuff. So it's kind of like that, I guess. But Jack delivers a long tirade about just what he thinks of Apophis, and goes
slimy snake sucking.
He goes off for quite a bit. And then what's hilarious is that when they are playing back the message, because it's time delayed, so they will replay the messages in Stargate Command. They're static, just as he talks about. He goes on his big tirade. He's like, all thanks to that Apophis,
Well, and they did get Peter Williams to do the voice of Apophis for the recording. It wasn't like they, had someone mimic him. They got him to at least do the recording. So that's always a good touch when they do that,
I actually really thought that was a creative plot device for this one. It's kind of, like you said, kind of a standard plot thing to get them stuck in the ship. How do we get them home? We've got to rescue them. Yep. But the way they got them in it, and then have the Apophis voice and the recording, and I thought that was really quite clever, and it added a little extra because we haven't seen Apophis in a while. So
nope, he's still out there.
Yep. Just a little
Not
reminder: the Goa'ulds are still around, even though we don't see them.
Well, and then they had a lot of fun with the time delay, because it was like 3 minutes at the first, when it first started. And, there was like, they said, they sent down to Earth, here's what's going on. We've got this recall device that's sending us back to Apophis's planet. And then they're responding back, okay, we're trying to figure out what to do. And then Jack is like, well, why don't we disable it? And immediately, like as soon as he says that, it comes over there. Oh, and if you're thinking about disabling it, it probably has a failsafe that'll blow you up if you try.
Yeah, Carter says don't do it.
Yeah. What I really like about that too is it does kind of increase the isolation. They can't rely on the SGC immediately for help, and and then they have a difficulty later on where they have to actually limit the use of the radio and in fact all the systems, and so they can only turn the radio on for a few minutes every hour. And, at one point, Jack is, oxygen deprived, is trying to sleep, has a horrible headache, and Major Davis says, back in SGC, tells General Hammond, it's time to check in with Jack, and General Hammond's like, well, do we have any new news to tell them? And he's like, no. And then General Hammond's just like, just let him sleep. It's practically hopeless at this point. Just let him, don't bother him if there's no new information to share.
Exactly.
If you think about how the team was divided this time, you've got the two men of action, the two, warriors, who are stuck, who can't do anything. They're just sitting and they're trapped, and you how that affects them, psychologically and how together. And I think Teal'c handles it a lot better than Jack does.
Well, yeah, and Teal'c puts himself out in Kel Noreen, and Jack's in there going, "I don't have anybody to talk to now, and I like to talk to people."
I thought that was a really nice.
I don't even have the radio,
Yeah, Teal'c's like, "Don't talk to me. I'm done."
Yeah. Jack's like, "Who am I going to talk to?" Well, we get some really funny bits, like when they first are getting launched out into space, and Jack goes, "Oh, Teal'c, on R6, is that what I think it is?" And it's like, if you think it is the Earth, then yes. It's like, it's shrinking.
Why is it getting smaller?
Yeah.
It's not getting smaller.
Its size remains constant.
Right.
Size remains constant.
Yeah. And so just as they're like, blasting out of and I don't think he ever gets to see the Oort belt, because that's where they're headed to in a few months. And he's always wanted to see it, but
nope, he hasn't got there yet. He said not this way. Maybe he does. Maybe he does one time when they're he's on one of the Prometheus or something like that,
or the Oort cloud, not the Oort belt, but
Oort cloud. Yeah,
we got
maybe
a really
they
nice.
purposely dropped out of hyperspace, let him see it, and then took off again.
Get a picture.
Yeah.
We did get a nice Jupiter.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that was really nicely done.
That was very pretty. Yeah, I did like the Wizard of Oz reference.
Oh yeah, yeah. When
the great, very wonderful Oz. Yeah,
as Daniel's doing his Han Solo. Trying to bluff his way past the, because they're pushing the engines on this cargo vessel to get back to the solar system, our solar system in time, and it's basically shaking itself apart. They have to stop to reset the engines. Daniel has to bluff his way past one or two Goa'uld motherships. Yeah. And it seems to be going okay, but then it doesn't seem to be going okay. Yeah.
Like Daniel's like, Jacob's like, "Who did you say you were?"
Right.
The great and powerful Oz.
Sam.
Cree.
Yeah. Well, then after Daniel says that, Sam's back trying to get the engine started. Jacob turns around and goes, "Sam." I just realized. Like,
but did you notice what Daniel's doing? And he's like, put his hand on it, and he's saying stuff, and he takes his hand off, and it translate, it says it for him, and he's got this like smirk, like, "Oh, that's kind of
cool."
Yeah. I like this.
It makes me sound like a Goa'uld. This is cool. Yeah. We can have fun with this.
That was good. That was fun.
Well, I like the line too, where as they're coming, or as they're trying to figure out how are they going to get him out of the X-301, Daniel talks about, "We're hoping you could just beam him out." And Jacob immediately replies, "What? Who? You think I'm Scotty?"
Yeah.
But we do learn a little bit more about the ring transporters. I think up until this point, we've only seen them activated, between a ship, transporter room, and then a transporter pad where the rings come out and then the rings go up. But this is, I think, the first time we've seen that a ship, if it's within a few meters, can actually just send the rings down and grab somebody.
Yep. Well, I think there's this episode later where that's used to cast a bad guy out, and the rings are shot down underneath the ship as it's flying, and they blow away.
Whee!
Yep.
Oh yeah, the rings blow. Yeah, I can't remember what episode that is, but yeah, that's definitely a memorable visual there.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny. It's like, okay, so Jacob was getting ready to blow up half the planet or whatever. It's like, well, why didn't he hit the button as he's flying off the planet anyways?
I had the
by the way,
thought.
I was here. Boom.
Yeah. We got to leave anyway.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe he wasn't in the right position or hadn't set the charge yet or something and had to be cloaked to do it. But I do like how he's like, you're ruining my op here. And they're like, well, Jax and Teal'c are in trouble. He's like, okay, let's go.
Yeah.
Like, no hesitation.
That was nice.
Yeah, it was very nice.
Especially
like,
since he was
a good reason they're in trouble. Yeah. That's a good reason.
Especially since after that, he's become full on Tok'ra. I mean, he was always kind of arrogant before, but he's completely, "You are very young." That whole, he's channeling the Nox for a little bit.
Yeah. It's like, you shouldn't be just experimenting and, jamming, like you said, put the Air Force stickers on the jets. Like, yeah, well, you guys kind of did that before us. So
I felt like Sam was going to look at him and be like, "Dude, I am not 10 years old. Quit giving me a lecture."
Yeah.
This is a very good Jacob episode, though. He gets to be a little snarky, like when he's he's saying that he's like pushing the engines to 132% or whatever, and Daniel goes, "Well, is that wise?" And Jacob goes, "No."
Won't it cause problems? Or is it a problem now? No, but it will be a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and they did have a Star Wars reference.
Yep.
To told him to punch it.
Oh yeah.
Channeling Han Solo. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was nice. So we got a Star Trek, we got Star Wars, we got Wizard of Oz.
Yeah. Star Trek, Star Wars, Wizard of Oz. We have
of course, Apollo 13.
Yep.
Mhm.
You know.
I'm gonna say Airplane was a major influence on the combat of the movie too.
Yeah.
But we do get like I just like how they have the comedy and the humor in here, and then they have like the serious moments, like you know, when it appears that, you know, just before Teal'c turns himself off, he's like, you know, there's no hope of rescue. He says, you know, if we are to die, we die well. And Jack goes, we could do better.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Well, I like that where, you know, Jack finally gets woken up by the ship being bumped by Jacob, and then he's trying to get Teal'c's attention. Teal'c, and he takes a pen and throws it at him. And that wakes him up.
That was nice. Of course, I like when he wakes up and he's like, "Carter," and then you see her like waving. She's like, "Hi."
He's looking out the wrong window. He can't see him.
Yeah.
You know?
Hypoxia, Jack. Yeah, because he's so oxygen deprived at that point. Which is, it's funny, but then it's also like, oh no, you know, like is he okay? Type thing too.
You know, Carter's over there going, "Can you just wake up Teal'c? Like, can I just?"
Yeah. Can I talk to the guy up front who's probably got a better chance of knowing what's going on?
Teal'c, Sam's here. Yeah.
He's like, "Jacob, is that you?"
Yeah.
That was good.
But, you know, of course, that shows it was the last second type of thing. You know, they had just, you know, minutes left before they would run out. You know, there wouldn't have been enough oxygen and he would have just completely been out of it, and that would have been it.
Right. And I feel like that was the slingshot, the missed slingshot and all of that. I mean, you knew that wasn't going to work. I mean, because it was too early in the episode. And but then when the rocket came back and hit them, I mean, the whole purpose was to deplete their life support. And so, because you're thinking, when it first happened, he said, "Oh, we have like, what was it, like 3 or 4 days?"
Yep.
Worth of oxygen and life support. So then, you know, that diminished it, and it gave us the ticking time bomb, or whatever you call it, you know, type of plot device.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Ticking clock. Yeah.
Ticking clock.
Yeah. So but yeah, I like that idea though. Hey, let's use these rockets, you know, these missiles that are designed to go and, you know, straight and go boom. Let's just make sure they don't go boom at the end of their launch.
Yeah. Or don't blow up Jupiter.
Yeah. Well, I'd hope that they were just dummy rockets at that point, you know, that they weren't.
Oh, no. They were supposed to be live rockets because they were going to do it was a live fire exercise.
Oh, that's right. Against the drones. That's right.
Yep.
Well,
where'd they end up?
I'm sure they're fine. Where'd the 301
the drones?
end up? Yeah.
No, the rockets.
They're just, no, I mean,
they
they probably disarmed the warheads and stuff. So they're good. Yeah. And I don't know that it was an aqua warheads. It could have just been.
It would have been just standard warheads, I would assume, at that point. But yeah, it's well, they weren't supposed to come off of the rails. They were supposed to hang onto the jet the whole time and be timed so that it turns it just a little bit. But it just. Oh. But then the one broke loose, and that's what caused the oops.
And we get the memorable line, "No joy on the burn."
Oh, yes.
Which, reading online, Joseph Malazzi liked that line so much, he'd used it in his everyday life for like months after this episode. And anytime something disappointed him, he would just say, "No joy on the burn."
So his wife says, "Did you carry out the trash?" "No joy on the burn."
You have no joy on the burn.
We actually used that.
Oh, no.
We use it for this is embarrassing. We use it when we take the dog out to the bathroom.
Oh, no.
And if he doesn't go, that's what we say.
I thought it was going to be like a fire, you know, I couldn't get the fire pit started. No joy on the burn. No.
When the dog doesn't, do his business. Yeah, because my husband was watching this with me. And he goes, "Oh, there it is."
There it is. That's where that
that's all
comes
right. I
from.
already decided. Of course, we're recording this the same week that the DS9 episode of Lower Decks came out, and I've already decided just keep circling is my gonna be plot line or my code for that we screwed up in the podcast and we're delaying. Just keep circling.
There you go. Oh, we got to see Major Davis.
Yes,
Be
he was
productive.
super smart. Yeah,
He's super smart. Yeah.
Important part of the. But why was it him and not Walter? It should have been Walter. He was in Walter
Davis.
Walter isn't Major Davis smart, but he is a good guy.
Yeah.
No, it is. It almost kind of feels like, well, we had to get him in here somewhere. He is the Pentagon liaison, and of course, he had the general from the Pentagon there, so we had to get him in there somewhere.
And I got the impression too that it was kind of like the X-ray one was kind of his project in some way.
Could be.
Yeah, I just got that. I think there was a line in there that hinted at that.
And were we all really disappointed that Anise phoned in her appearance?
No, I think it worked. It worked better that way. And like I said, they were able to put some nuance into it that way too. It's like, someone we care about,
right.
Doing something. Yeah.
I'm like, well, Martouf is dead. So
yeah. And again, the Tolans are not helpful at all.
No.
I think it's just the second time where they had to we have a ship, it'll take a year to get there. Didn't that come up?
I think that was 100 days, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it'll take us a year to get there with our ship.
Where are the Asgard?
Yeah,
they're too busy fighting the replicators.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
In a different galaxy.
Because they could have beamed him up. I'm just saying.
Yeah, exactly. Well, eventually the Earthlings will too, just not right now.
Yeah.
There was a reference, Jack referenced not wanting to freeze to death again.
Mm-hmm.
Going back to Solitudes.
Solid dudes.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm surprised. I forgot who you said the writer was of this episode, but it was his only SG-1 episode. And I'm really surprised by that because I felt like this was such a successfully written episode.
Yeah. I mean, he wrote for Erie. Was it Erie, Indiana? I think was like a kid's supernatural show. Kind of like Goosebumps. He wrote for that show about that I watched a couple episodes of, the Odyssey 5 or something, about these 5 space shuttle astronauts who go up, the Earth blows up, but then they go back 2 years before the catastrophe and stuff to try and stop it. So he wrote for other shows, but I don't know what happened with Stargate specifically, but it was a good script.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, I'm kind of looking through his IMDb right now, and this is the only Stargate episode he wrote.
Yeah.
He also only did one for Andromeda and Farscape, so that's maybe his routine. But
yeah, I'll have to look up which Andromeda episode he did.
Well timed and
producers of a lot of things. There's a lot of kind of Erie, Indiana is one of them that he was a producer for and things like that. So
he was a consultant on 90210.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I had to time my sorority meetings around that show.
Oh boy.
Not one of the better Andromeda episodes that he did.
I had to miss that one. Oh, I missed all of 90210. Sorry.
That's okay. It doesn't hold up well. Don't go back and watch it.
It didn't hold up well, and so is there anything else you want to mention there, Lisa, or did we get it all covered?
I have the translations.
Oh, yes.
Oh, excellent. Yes.
Okay. French and the Italians tied here. Theirs was Lost in Space. There you go. Spanish was Tangents. Creative. The Czechs were The Experimental Flight.
Oh.
Hungarians, Trajectory.
Oh, cool.
And
I kind of like that one.
The Germans,
of course,
Rescue in Space. Kind of give away the ending there.
Yeah. What's the story about? We're rescuing someone in space. There's the title.
Wait, I thought this was an Earthbound flight. What?
Yeah.
I like that, though. I like that everyone takes a different spin on it.
Yep. How about you, Victor? Anything?
No, I mean, I like this episode. lots of really good dialogue. It's a good kind of side story, which, you kind of, a tangent to the main story, but also, given that they, are going off on a certain trajectory, I think that might be part of the title as well. So yeah, no, I like it. Some really, really good moments between, I think this is one of Jack's stronger episodes because he gets to be funny. He gets to be, serious. It's definitely, like I said, everybody in the cast has something to do that plays to their strengths. And at the end, I mean, when they're rescued, General Hammond looks genuinely happy for one of the few times in the entire series. So
he gets to smile.
Yeah, he gets to smile, and and so it has a happy ending. And I like this episode. I didn't remember liking it as much as I did, but watching it again after watching, how many other dozens of episodes up to this point, I really liked it.
And I'd forgotten so many little plot points.
Yeah,
in it. So it was nice, kind of surprise to watch again.
Yes, it was. Well, very good. Well, with that, we'd like to take a moment to thank our patrons who make it possible for us to create the Secrets of Stargate, including Albin, Tommy L, Daryl S, Suzanne S, and Dennis S. Kind of a pattern there in the names, a bunch of S's. Their generous donations at sqpn.com/give make it possible for us to continue the Secrets of Stargate and all the shows at StarQuest. You can join them by visiting sqpn.com/give. Be sure to follow the show on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or any of the other great podcast apps. Not the shady ones, but the good ones, the great ones. We're reminder, we're on YouTube and we are recording this video, so you can see our smiling faces as we're waving at you at youtube.com/StarQuestMedia, where we are now sharing the videos from our recordings. To find previous episodes of Secrets of Stargate and to send feedback, please visit sqpn.com/Stargate or visit our Discord at sqpn.com/Discord. Our email address is stargate@sqpn.com, or you can follow us on social media at facebook.com/StarQuestMedia or on Twitter at SQPN. We'll be back next time when we'll be discussing The Curse, the next episode of SG-1. Until then, Lisa Jones, thank you for joining me in sharing the secrets of Stargate.
Thanks, Father Cory.
Victor Lambs, thank you as well.
Thanks, Father Cory. Now, let me do the math.
And once again, I'm Father Cory Sticha. Thank you for listening to the Secrets of Stargate on StarQuest.
Anyway, I'm sorry, but that just happens to be how I feel about it. What do you think?